Level 1. The browser.
You download Tor. It takes 3 minutes. The icon sits on your desktop next to Chrome and Spotify. You click it. The browser opens. It looks exactly like Firefox because it is Firefox, just wrapped in layers of encryption that bounce your connection through 3 random servers before it reaches anything. You're sitting in your bedroom. The overhead light is on. Your phone is on the desk next to you. You copy paste the URL from a Reddit thread into the address bar. The URL ends in .onion. Regular browsers can't reach it. Tor can. The page loads slowly, white text on a black background, market names, vendor ratings, product categories listed like it's Amazon, cannabis, psychedelics, stimulants, opioids, benzos. Each word is a hyperlink. Your heart rate is up. You're not doing anything illegal yet. You're just looking. But you know that changes the moment you click stimulants and scroll past the listings for Adderall until you see the crystal meth. 10 grams, domestic shipping, 4.9 stars. 847 reviews. You close the browser. You open it again 20 minutes later. This is how it starts for everyone.
Level 2. The buyer.
You create an account, username, password. No email required. You write both down on a piece of paper and hide it under your keyboard. The market generates a PGP key for you automatically. You don't know what that means yet. You will. You need Bitcoin. You open Coinbase. You buy $50 worth. The app asks why you're buying cryptocurrency. You select investment. The Bitcoin appears in your wallet 3 minutes later. You copy the wallet address. You paste it into the market's deposit page. You wait. 16 confirmations, 30 minutes. The Bitcoin shows up in your market balance, $43 now because the price dropped while you were waiting. You click on a listing, 2 grams of MDMA. Domestic vendor, ships from California. Stealth rating, 9 out of 10. You read 40 reviews. Everyone says the product is clean. Everyone says the stealth is good. Everyone says it arrived in 3 to 5 days. You click add to cart. You enter your real address because you don't know. Any better yet, you click place order. You check the tracking page every 2 hours, order accepted, then shipped, then nothing. You don't sleep well for 3 days. On the 4th day, there's a padded envelope in your mailbox between a credit card offer and a grocery store flyer. You open it in your car. There's a birthday card inside. The MDMA is taped behind the Hallmark message about getting older. The vendor wrote, "Happy birthday" on the envelope in blue pen. You sit there holding it. You just committed a federal crime. It feels exactly like getting a package from Amazon.
Level 3. The regular.
You've placed 8 orders now. You know which vendors ship fastest. You know which ones vacuum seal twice. You know that domestic costs more but clears customs in 0 seconds because it never sees customs. You're on 3 different markets now because you learned the first one is an exit scam waiting to happen. Empire, White House, versus. You keep separate Bitcoin wallets for each. You learned about Monero. It's harder to trace. You convert your Bitcoin to Monero through an exchange that doesn't ask questions. The fees are brutal, but your address isn't sitting on a public blockchain anymore. You bought a P.O. box. You use 5 different names. You rotate them. The name on your driver's license never touches a package. You learned this from the Buyer's Bible, a 47-page PDF that circulates on Dread the Dark Web Reddit. It explains controlled deliveries. It explains how the postal inspectors work. It explains that you never sign for anything. Your orders arrive every 2 weeks. LSD, ketamine, cocaine. You're not an addict. You're a hobbyist. That's what you tell yourself. Or yourself, the drugs sit in a lockbox under your bed. You test everything with reagent kits you bought on Amazon. The cocaine is 71% pure. The LSD is real. The ketamine is actually 2 FDCK, a legal analog, which means the vendor lied, but you're not complaining because it works. You spend an hour every Sunday reading vendor reviews. You watch markets rise and fall. Dream Market goes offline, like Wall Street Market gets seized by German police, like you lose $340 in Bitcoin that was sitting in your Wall Street wallet. You learn to never keep money on a market. Deposit, is buy, withdraw, repeat is you're good at this now. You've never had a problem. You'll have your first problem in 4 months, but right now you feel untouchable.
Level 4. The bulk buyer.
You're not buying for yourself anymore. Your roommate asks if you can get him some, then his girlfriend. Then 3 guys from your gym. You say yes because the math is simple. You buy 10 grams, you sell 7, you keep 3 free. The vendor offers a bulk discount at 28 grams. You place your first ounce order. The Bitcoin transaction is $680. The package takes 6 days. It arrives in a bag of coffee beans, Guatemalan dark roast. The Coke is vacuum sealed inside the bag. The vendor included a note, "Enjoy the coffee." You throw the beans away. You should have kept them. The smell is part of the stealth. You're moving a 1/4 ounce a week now. You don't advertise. You don't need to. People talk. Someone's cousin asks if you can get Xanax. You can. Someone's coworker asks about psychedelics. You pull up the market on your phone in the bar bathroom and show him the listings. He Venmos you $200. You tell him never to put a drug reference in the Venmo note. He already wrote, "For the party favors," with a balloon emoji. You send the money back. You tell him cash only from now on. You buy a vacuum sealer. You buy a milligram scale that measures to 0.001 grams. You buy a heat sealer for Mylar bags. You're packaging product in your kitchen. You wear gloves. You wipe everything down with isopropyl alcohol. You learn this from a vendor's OPSEC guide. You're thinking like a vendor now. You have 14 customers. You keep their names in your head, never written down. You meet them in parking lots, coffee shops, train stations. You hand them a small package. They hand you cash. The whole interaction takes 11 seconds. You're making $1,400 a month. That's after your own supply. That's after Bitcoin fees and market commission. You're good at this. But you're not a vendor yet. You're a middleman. The margins are thin. The next level fixes that.
Level 5. The vendor.
You create a vendor account. It costs $400 just to apply. Non-refundable. The market is filtering out scammers and cops. You upload a product photo, 2 ounces of cannabis sitting on a digital scale. You set your price 15% below the competition. You write your profile. Domestic, stealth, fast shipping, no bullshit. You hit publish. Your first order comes in 4 hours later. Some guy in Nevada wants 3.5 grams. You triple vacuum seal it. You put it inside a birthday card. You put the birthday card inside a padded envelope. You write the address by hand. You drive to a post office 3 towns over. You pay cash. You mail it. You drive home. You mark it, shipped on the market. 3 days later, the buyer leaves 5 stars. Came fast. Good stealth. Fire product. Your second order comes 6 hours after that. Then 2 more. Then 5 in 1 day. You're packaging orders at your kitchen table until 2 a.m. Your fingers smell like weed and rubber gloves. You're making $320 a day. You quit your job 4 weeks later. You're shipping 40 packages a week now. You use 4 different post offices. You print shipping labels at a FedEx print center and pay cash. You never mail from the same location twice in a row. You never mail on a pattern. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a pattern. Random is safer. You expand your listings. Cocaine, MDMA, ketamine. You source from 3 different dark web suppliers. You're buying weight now. Half kilos, you negotiate. Some vendors offer escrow. Some want direct deals. Direct deals mean no market fees, but also no buyer protection. You've been burned once. You ate the $2,800 loss. You learned you're grossing $22,000 a month. You're netting $11,000 after product costs and Bitcoin volatility and packaging supplies. You file taxes as a freelance consultant. The IRS doesn't ask what you consult on. You pay quarterly. You're a drug dealer with a W-9. You have 600 orders completed. You have 591 5-star reviews. You have 9 4-star reviews from people who complained about shipping time. You have 0 disputes. You're a top-rated vendor now. That comes with a target.
Level 6. The importer.
You're buying domestic because domestic is safe. But domestic is expensive. The cocaine you're buying for $60 a gram costs $4 a gram in Colombia. The MDMA you're buying for $30 a gram costs $2 a gram in the Netherlands. You're losing 70% of your revenue to the domestic markup. You're ready to cut out the middleman. You contact a vendor in Amsterdam. His profile says he ships worldwide. You send him an encrypted message. You ask about bulk pricing. He replies in 6 hours, 1 kilogram of MDMA, $2,400 shipped in a sealed electronics package, signature required on delivery. You hesitate on that last part. Signature means controlled delivery risk. He says he's shipped 4,000 international orders. He's had 11 seizures. That's a 99.7% success rate. You place the order. You send the Monero. You use a new address. You rent it under a fake name. You pay the landlord cash for 3 months up front. You tell him you're a graduate student. You buy furniture from Goodwill. You make it look lived in. You check the mailbox every day. 11 days pass, the package arrives. DHL. You sign for it with the fake name. The driver doesn't check ID. You carry it inside. You wait 4 hours. If it's a controlled delivery, they'll hit the door within 3. Nothing happens. You open the package. It's a graphics card box. There's a graphics card inside. There's a sealed Mylar brick under the graphics card. You cut it open. You test it. It's real. You just saved $27,600 on one transaction. You place your second international order 3 weeks later, 2 kilos this time. 1 from Amsterdam, 1 from Germany. Both arrive. You place your third order. You're importing 5 kilos a month now. Cannabis from Canada, MDMA from Europe, cocaine from a vendor who claims he's in Peru but routes through Spain. You're netting $47,000 a month now. You bought a house with cash. You told the realtor you sold a startup. You have 3 cars. You have 2 rental properties. You have a CPA who doesn't ask questions. You're 31 years old. You're working 16-hour days. You haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. You're successful. You're also on a list. You don't know it yet. But U.S. Customs has flagged your rental address. They've flagged the fake name. They photographed 6 packages. They haven't opened them yet. They're building a case. That takes time.
Level 7. The operator.
You don't touch product anymore. You have 3 people who do that. You call them contractors. They don't know your real name. They know you as Jay. You pay them $4,000 a month each. They package, they ship, they handle the dead drops for local customers. You manage the listings. You handle the Bitcoin. You handle the suppliers. You're running 6 vendor accounts now. Different names, different products, different markets. You're diversifying because markets die. Empire exit scammed with $30 million in user funds last year. You had $18,000 in your vendor wallet. Gone. You learned. You withdraw daily now. You keep nothing on the markets. You're moving 15 kilos a month. You're grossing $340,000. You're netting $160,000 after product costs, labor, packaging, shipping, Bitcoin tumbling fees, and the 5% you pay your mentor, the guy who taught you how to import. You met him on Dread 2 years ago. You've never seen his face. You've never heard his voice. You know him through PGP encrypted messages. He's the closest thing you have to a friend in this business. You bought a cabin in Montana under an LLC. You bought a condo in Austin under a different LLC. You bought a boat you've been on twice. You have $840,000 in Bitcoin spread across 12 cold wallets. You have $220,000 in Monero. You have $95,000 in cash buried in a storage unit in Oklahoma. You don't trust banks. You don't trust property. You trust cryptography and geography. You know the risks. You read about the takedowns, Alphabet, Hansa, Silk Road. Ross Ulbricht got life without parole. The dread Pirate Roberts, they caught him in a public library in San Francisco. He's in a supermax now. You think about him sometimes. You think you're smarter. You think your OPSEC is tighter. Everyone thinks that. You haven't seen your family in 8 months. They think you're working in tech, remote consulting, blockchain stuff. They don't understand it. They're proud of you. Your mom brags to her, friends about your success. You sent her $15,000 for Christmas. You told her it was a bonus. She cried on the phone. You think about that a lot, like something is about to change. You can feel it. The market's been slow for 2 weeks. The vendors are going dark. Rumor on Dread says there's a task force, FBI, DEA, Europol, they're coordinating. That's 3 levels from now.
Level 8. The Kingpin.
You're not just a vendor anymore. You're a supplier. You have 47 vendors who buy from you. They don't know your name. They know you as the Dutchman, even though you're not Dutch and you're not in the Netherlands. You route everything through 4 countries. You have contacts in production labs. You have contacts in customs. You have contacts who can move 500 kilos in a single shipment. You're sitting in an apartment in Lisbon. You've been here 3 months. You'll be gone in 2 more. You move every 4 months. Berlin, Prague, Bucharest, Barcelona. You own nothing. You rent everything under fake names. You use a new identity in every city. You have 11 passports. 4 are real. 7 are very good fakes. Your operation moves $8 million a month. You employ 83 people across 6 countries. Most of them don't know they work for you. They think they work for logistics companies, freight forwarders, import-export businesses. The paperwork is real. The businesses are real. The products listed on the customs forms are real. There's just something extra in the shipments. You have a chemist in Poland. He produces MDMA in a lab that's licensed for pharmaceutical research. The MDMA is listed as a research chemical analog. It ships with proper documentation. It clears customs because it's technically legal until the moment it's sold for human consumption. You have 3 labs like this, one in India, one in China, one in the Czech Republic. You have a guy in Miami who handles the cocaine. He works with a cartel contact. The coke comes in through shipping containers, bananas, coffee, frozen shrimp. The containers are flagged as clean because your guy pays a customs officer $40,000 a month to flag them clean. You've never met the customs officer. You've never met the Miami guy. You pay him in Bitcoin. He pays the officer in cash. The system works until it doesn't. You sleep 4 hours a night. You take modafinil to stay awake. You take Xanax to come down. You don't use the product you sell. You learned that rule early. You've broken it twice. Both times you made mistakes. Both mistakes cost you money. You don't break it anymore. You have $18 million in cryptocurrency. You have $4 million in cash in safe deposit boxes in 3 countries. You have real estate in 7 cities under shell companies. You're 34 years old. You're one of the most successful criminals on the planet. You're also exhausted. You think about retiring. You think about it every day. You'll think about it until the day they kick in the door.
Level 9. The Hunted.
You wake up to encrypted messages. 15 vendors went dark overnight. The market's exit scamming. $60 million in escrow gone. You had $430,000 in your vendor bonds. You'll never see it again. This is the third market you've lost money on. You're numb to it now, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is the pattern. Vendors are getting arrested. 7 in 2 months, 3 in the US, 2 in the UK, 1 in Germany, 1 in Australia. They're not street level. They're importers, operators, people at your level. Dread is panicking. The consensus is a coordinated task force. Operation Dark Hunter, Operation Disruptor. They keep naming them like movie sequels. You read the indictments. They're public record. You download them from Pacer, you read all 47 pages of the one from New Jersey. They caught the vendor because he reused an email address. He used it once to register a vendor account in 2015. He used it again to register a Steam account in 2017. They matched the Agentjust username, they matched the IP, they matched the shipping patterns, they kicked in his door at 6 a.m. He's looking at 25 years. You audit yourself. You check every account. Every username, every email, every address, you find 3 overlaps. You burn those identities. You burn the associated wallets. You burn $340,000 in Bitcoin because you can't risk moving it. You start over. You move from Lisbon to Tbilisi. Georgia doesn't extradite. You rent an apartment under a fake Georgian ID. You pay a guy $15,000 to produce it. It's flawless. You could board a plane with it. You use it to open a bank account. You're building a new life. You've built 6 new lives in 3 years. You're not sleeping. You're taking Ambien, but it's not working. You lie awake staring at the ceiling, calculating risk, the likelihood that customs flagged a shipment, the likelihood that a vendor flipped, the likelihood that someone in your network is wearing a wire. You trust no one. You've trusted no one since the beginning. That's why you're still free. But you're not free. You're in a prison of your own design. You can't go home. You can't see your family. You can't use your real name. You have $22 million and you live like a fugitive. You are a fugitive. You just haven't been charged yet. You get a message from your mentor. 3 words: burn it all. You know what that means. You start deleting like accounts, wallets, contacts. You wipe your laptop. You destroy the hard drive. You throw the pieces in 3 different dumpsters across the city. You buy a burner phone. You book a flight to Kiev. You'll rebuild there. You always rebuild.
Level 10, the ghost.
You don't exist anymore. Not legally. You have 4 identities. None of them are real. You rotate through them. You never stay in one place longer than 60 days. You're in Medellin now. Before that, Chiang Mai. Before that, Istanbul. You're always moving. You've been operating for 9 years. You've made $31 million. You've lost $8 million to exit scams, seizures, bad deals, and burned identities. You're left with $23 million spread across cold wallets, real estate, and cash. You can't spend most of it. The IRS is watching. Interpol is watching. You move $40,000 a year through a fake consulting business. That's your visible income. The rest sits frozen in cryptographic amber. You're not running product anymore. You're running the network. You connect suppliers to vendors. You broker deals. You take 3%. You don't touch the drugs. You don't touch the money directly. You're a ghost in the machine. You're the reason a kid in Ohio can order MDMA from a lab in Amsterdam and have it show up in his mailbox in 4 days. Your infrastructure. You read about arrests every week, people you've worked with, people who worked for people you've worked with. The FBI arrested your Miami contact. He's cooperating. You know, because your cartel contact went dark. You burned that entire supply chain. You lost $1.2 million in pending shipments. You didn't hesitate. You think about Ulbricht every day. Life without parole. A DX Florence. 23 hours in a cell. He was younger than you when he started Silk Road. He believed he was making the world better, ending the drug war through encryption. You believed that too once. You believed it until the first overdose. A kid in Pennsylvania, fentanyl-laced heroin, bought from a vendor who bought from you. You didn't cut it with fentanyl, but someone in the chain did. The kid was 19. You read his obituary. You think about him sometimes. You think about him a lot. You don't have friends. You have contacts. You don't have family. You have memories. Your mom died last year. You couldn't go to the funeral. You watched from a webcam in a hotel room in Buenos Aires. You saw your sister cry. You saw your dad stare at the casket like his soul left with her. You wired them $100,000 anonymously. They'll never know it was you. That's the cost. You're 41 years old. You have more money than you can spend. You live in furnished apartments and eat street food. You have no one to share it with. You're alone in a way that money can't fix. You're successful. You're free. You're trapped. You think about retiring every single day. You've thought about it for 4 years, but you don't know how to stop. The machine runs itself now. You're just keeping it alive. You're too deep. You're too known. You're too hot. If you stop, someone notices. If someone notices, they start asking why. Questions are dangerous. Somewhere in America, a kid is downloading Tor for the first time. The browser opens, it looks exactly like Firefox. He copies a URL from Reddit, the page loads slowly, white text on a black background, market names, vendor ratings, product categories, cannabis, psychedelics, stimulants, opioids. He clicks stimulants, he scrolls past Adderall, he sees crystal meth, 10 grams, domestic shipping, 4.9 stars. His heart rate is up. He's not doing anything illegal yet. He's just looking. He closes the browser. He opens it again 20 minutes later. This is how it starts for everyone.